Hi, I'm Tom from Cochrane Car Estate Agents. If this is the first video you've seen from ourselves, what we're looking to do is just give you good information and data on what's happening in the local housing market in Sheffield. We're specifically looking at postcodes S10 and S11. However, we've got my contact details at the end. So if you're thinking about moving and you want to discuss your local housing market, then please get in contact with me. Let's have a look at the data. So the first thing we're going to have a look at is new listings, new properties coming on the market. This is the indicator for seller confidence. People wouldn't come on the market if they didn't think their property was going to sell. To put this into context, we have got the budget at the end of October that's looming over. And essentially, we can see that this has had an effect on new properties coming on the market because numbers are actually 20%, 28% down compared to September. However, putting this into context is we've still got a similar amount to the 6-year average that are coming on the market. And it also shows compared to 2023 that 2024 is just a much more buoyant housing market. It's actually a 17% more properties coming on the market compared to the same time in 2023. So the budget has had an effect, but compared to 2023, people are still more confident about selling their home. And the next thing we're going to look at is buyer demand. And essentially, unlike people coming on the market, there was plenty of buyers that weren't put off by the looming budget. And as we see, there was actually 9% more properties sale agreed compared to the 6-year average, 15% more properties sale agreed compared to the previous month, and 46% more compared to 2023. So overall, buyer demand was really good. Strong buyer demand was also reflected in mortgage approval numbers as well. Approvals increased for the fourth consecutive month, the highest number since August 2022, and a 51.5% increase on the same time in 2023. So it's just reflecting that it's probably a mix, that 2023 was a bit of a struggling year for the housing market, but it's also 2024 has been a good year for the housing market as well. Next, we're going to look at stock levels. I'm going to sound like a bit of a broken record because high stock levels are still a massive issue. There are still far too many properties on the market going nowhere. Buyers have got more choice than they ever had before. This isn't just a Sheffield issue. Stock levels for the country are actually sitting at a 10-year high. So properties for sale, they are 28% more properties for sale than the 6-year average, similar to the previous month, and 27% more properties compared to the same time last year. And like stock levels, price changes, price reductions are still a massive issue within the Sheffield housing market. There are actually 74% more price changes than there were in the same time last year. Probably take this with a tiny pinch of salt that there are more properties on the market than this time last year, so therefore there will be more price changes, but there should not be 74% more. There's 26% more than the previous month, and then 66% more price changes compared to the 6-year average. So make sure if you are having estate agents coming out to your property that when they're suggesting a marketing price that they can back it up with similar properties, what they've gone on for, what they've sold for. You do not want your property sat on the market going nowhere and then reducing your price, as it just sends a big signal out to the world to say there's something wrong with this property. Price it correctly from the start. And then on this slide, it was just wanted to give you some information, probably just to put things into context. I think it's with the housing market, it's always good to have a look at where prices were quite a while ago and then what they've done more recently. And in Sheffield, this is taken from September. The land registry is always a month further back. And even just since August, the prices went up by £950, 0.4%. And then from this time last year, they went up by 1.6%, which is £3,500, which is a decent chunk. And then the big one is probably just showing the drastic effect from during the COVID market, is that prices are up 33.5%, which is just ridiculous. And as we look forward to the end of 2024 and then into 2025, we do think we are now less likely to see another base rate cut before the end of the year following the budget, but we are expecting the base rate to come down in the first half of 2025. Now, this will then lead to mortgage rates dropping slightly. They're not going to tumble. And what we find is mortgage rates come down, more buyers will come to the market. Now, we think that this will, in fact, instead of suddenly rocketing house prices up again when more buyers come into the market, all it will mean is that more properties sell. So, as I spoke about earlier, there's an incredible amount of properties sat on the market going nowhere. Now, they should sell, again, if priced correctly. So it will probably just mean that in 2025, we'll just see more sales, more transactions going through. We will still see house prices go up, maybe by 1 to 3% instead of like crazy numbers 7, 8, 9%. And here, if you did want to get in contact, here's my contact details. Feel free to get in touch if you are thinking about buying, if you're thinking about selling. More than happy to help wherever we can. Thank you.